Welcome to the REALL Academy, brought to you each Saturday at 10:30 a.m. Eastern Standard Time by the
Systems Doctors,
Dr. Sheka Houston and Dr. Tammy Taylor, best-selling authors, consultants, and speakers of Create and Educate LLC. Create and Educate LLC is an educational consultant and literary firm that provides professional development to schools and community. Their goal is to transform organizations with the REALL Resilient framework used to increase their school report card grades 2 and 3 grade levels in 1 year. REALL stands for Respect, Excellence, Accountability, Literacy, and Leadership. This framework is used to coach leaders and teachers and build student efficacy while putting systems in place that aligns the work of the school improvement, making the process manageable. When the work is manageable, teachers and leaders don't stress out or burn out.
the Systems Doctors
Alignment systems are designed to help schools evolve and grow, all while instituting protocols and processes designed to promote collaboration and collegiality. The implementation of the alignment framework prevents some of the most common problems in education, where leaders sometimes aren't sure where to start, or in our new age of educating, leaders need a trusted sounding board that allows them to be vulnerable and transparent, preventing loneliness at the top. The framework doesn't just help leaders, but also prevents teachers from burning out from too many initiatives and embracing teachers as they are the experts. Finally, the framework extends to the children, helping them get engaged in school and solving a nationwide problem. Alignment systems are frequently referred to as a key element of success in the improvement process. In the sport of rowing, all rowers must put their oars in the water, succinctly creating a system for their boat to reach maximum speed. So schools that want to improve are bringing in
the Systems Doctors
to teach them all about the alignment systems that must be in place for school improvement to be accomplished at high levels. The dynamic duo provides insights into educational topics through their international platform, which includes educators, parents, and community members as a way to support important entities that make communities thrive. This is their way to pay it forward and provide the support they needed through their platform. Take a look. People who work with the
Systems Doctors
describe them as an excellent and inspiring group of leaders. They get into the weeds of work with leaders through their TrustMate Institute that you should contact them about today by filling out the contact form on their website.
It's Super Saturday, everyone. Welcome to episode 199 of the REALL Academy, brought to you by Create and Educate with your very own Systems DoctHers, HERS. I am Dr. Sheka Houston.
Good morning, and I am Dr. Tammy Taylor. Welcome, everybody.
Good morning, Tammy.
Good morning.
So if this is your first time tuning in, at Create and Educate, we create and educate so you can thrive. And we do this in a multitude of ways, one of them being this weekly live stream that you are tuned into right now. We also create team-based personality assessments that provide self and team-based awareness for schools that leadership teams have loved so far. Your chair, your secret sauce, and your cultural crown are some of the top favorites.
Yes, for sure. We also create professional developments that help schools with student engagement centered around teaching the newer generation and growth through beliefs, which is based on our own lived experiences of raising our school report cards 2 and 3 levels in just a single year at both the elementary and middle school levels, using our REALL framework that's rooted and grounded in research-based principles.
Most definitely. And our creations that deal more with identity, Build My Sister, Build My Brother, these help women and men understand their identities and walk in their authenticity while learning how to walk with one another. The Real Me for girls and boys, that's what we've most recently created that goes along with our children's book series, the Resilience series, which helps children understand who they are by providing them with self pride in their identities. And next week, for our 200th episode that is loading, we will have a great announcement about our children's book series. So please like, share, subscribe, send the stars, comment, do all of the things that the platforms do, because you know we need help with these algorithms.
Yes, please, and thank you. Um, all the things. We are coming on every Saturday as a part of our live stream network, which is the Fantastic Four. We are elated to be here with you on Saturdays as a part of the Super Saturday lineup that starts at 10 a.m. with Principal Sean Hurt, and we have no doubt that he's going to come on and explode this morning as he always does. And following Principal Hurt on Saturdays at 10 a.m. are Sheka and I in the Real Academy at 10:30, and then following us at 10:55 is Principal Kafele with the AP and New Principals Academy. And of course, Principal Kafele is the go all things leadership, and he joins us again at 10:55, rounding out the Super Saturday. And then on Sunday we close the weekend with Dr. Mari Moreno and Principal Josh Tovar with PGB Podcast, which again closes out the Fantastic Four. So make sure you join us on Saturdays.
Most definitely. If you are a regular Real Fam member, you know that is Real Fam shout out time. So shout out to all of our Real Fam members. We appreciate each and every one of you for joining us every Saturday. You could be doing so many things, but you are intentional about being here with us, and we appreciate you for it. We are pre-recorded because I am attending a funeral as this is going on. So condolences to the Stoke family. They lost a very important part of their family, Miss Shirley Stokes, who was a great woman of faith and revered in the community. So condolences to the family on today and moving forward.
Yes, prayers, Brian and Willie.
Yes. We did want to shout out the Juneteenth Committee, Chester Downtown Development, and the City of Chester, along with WGCD radio station, for the greatest kickoff that we've had to our Juneteenth Jubilee celebration that was this past Thursday. It started, and I'm going to come back to this. We will have a screening of the Juneteenth Faith and Freedom next week on June 18th at 7 p.m. So if you would, I've shared the Juneteenth page on my page before. I'm one of the committee members. Make sure you like the page so that you can tune into the screening. This is a phenomenal film. It's a documentary produced by Voices, and we're going to have some roundtable discussions on June 19th, which is the actual Juneteenth date, the commemoration date, with some phenomenal people from the community. Some of our Real Fam members are going to join us, but those will be at 10 a.m. to p.m. and 7 p.m. So we are looking forward to that. But the kickoff started on Thursday, and this is the little small city of Chester that Tammy and I are both from. This is how the streets were filled because Mr. 803 Fresh himself came to the little city of Chester to help kick us off, and he did a fantastic job.
He absolutely did. He's a very, very respectable, just a stand-up guy. We really, really enjoy getting to meet him, hearing him, watching him perform. Now, I was not in that crowd where you saw Sheka
I'll
over.
go back and point to me.
I was over on a different side of things where there were not so many people, but it was a great opportunity again to have some time to see what a community can do coming together. And as Sheka said, shout out to Shonda Crosby, who has worked very, very hard to create this type of kickoff for the Juneteenth celebration. So kudos, Shonda. And we hope that you all can join in on some of those talks and the screening, as Sheka was talking about, on next week, because this is really, really important conversation.
Most definitely. And shout out to her husband as well, Sean. They are a
Yes.
phenomenal team together with
And what's the
WG
baby's name? Because she's the youngest.
Nova Ray.
No, yes,
Yeah.
we are. It's just a beautiful family. We really, really thank y'all for the partnership and the opportunity to be a part of the experience.
Most definitely. And shout out to all of the church leaders who have come on board with us for the work that we're doing with bridging the generational gap in the church. We hosted a webinar this past Monday. We'll host another one up this upcoming Monday if you've missed it, or if your church leaders, and that doesn't, it could be the pastor, doesn't have to be the pastor. Multiple people are leaders in the church. So anybody who works with youth, the first ladies, anyone can join on the webinar, because this, we feel like, is very important work. We got a lot of great feedback from the webinar. So join us again, find out more about it. We're looking forward to starting this work with the 5 churches that are already on board with us so far, and looking to add more. What's your team's personality? This is that teams-based personality assessment that we talked about, that we'll be working with several leadership teams on, and making sure that they can interact and collaborate with one another effectively. And marketing your business to schools is something that we also help entrepreneurs, speakers with, because right now in this time where things are shifting, budgets are changing, staying relevant to schools presently, and looking at the things that we're cutting, seeing our mindset, just helps you, especially if you have something that you're marketing to schools. So we are doing work around that. And also, if you are a nonprofit, if you are interested in starting a nonprofit, if you are interested in writing grants, we are in partnership with York Technical College. We will be offering this workshop in person here in Rock Hill, South Carolina, but there's also a virtual option. So you can register. I'm going to put that link in the comments once we get started, and that's June 24th and 26th from 6 p.m. to 8 p.m. So it's going to be a phenomenal workshop. So that brings us to episode 199 of the REALL Academy. We are very excited to have that many episodes, and 200th loading. The humanity in the help. And we want to put this in context of our framework. We're talking about putting the humanity in the help. That's the what. But the next thing is that messaging. And that's where we're going to talk a lot from today, making sure that the messaging is correct in putting that humanity in the help, specifically as we talk about summer school. So I'll never forget one year when I was the principal of the middle school. I was talking to the children about summer school, making sure they were taking advantage of it, and taking it seriously, and just giving them that final motivational talk about, hey, get your work turned in, anything you're missing, because if you can do it before you leave, that's even better than having to come for the summer. And I'll never forget the young man who said, well, what if we want to come for the summer?
Mm-hmm.
And it wasn't a thing of him being a smart aleck, because I knew him, I knew his background, I knew that he was in foster care, and I knew exactly what he was saying. And what he was saying was, I'd rather be here than at home. And I'll never forget just how that made me feel. And when I looked around the room, none of the children laughed. Nobody, thought that he was being a smart aleck either. And many of them had the look on their face like, well, yeah, Miss Houston, what if we want to come too? And so in that moment, I had to be able to read the room, which we talk about a lot with our leadership, just having that ability to do that, to say, well, hey guys, if some of you all do want to come for summer school, then we'll find some activities for you to work on, as far as like club based type things or extended knowledge or activities. But the fact that you want to be here, that says a lot about the culture that we've created at the school. So we'll work on that, and I'll get that going for you all. But when we talk about putting the humanity and the help, and then what we're thinking about as far as we want you to reflect on summer school, how are your students being treated in summer school? Just the people that you pick out for summer school matters, because there's a quote by Gandhi that we have modified. It He talks about the most vulnerable people in society, but we say, your school is judged based upon how you treat the most vulnerable students at your school. And a lot of times, your students who are attending summer school, your students who are in tier 3 or receiving tier 3 services, those are your most vulnerable students. So, how you even approach that work is very important. The messaging centered around that. And before we get to that part, we want to even look at, how do you even pick out your teachers? So, Tammy, like when you're considering who to recommend, or who you're going to consider for summer school, what are some of the things that you look for as far as that relatability to students?
Yeah, it's a lot to think through, because before you even get to selecting teachers, in my mind, it really has to be some forethought to what is your summer school program going to look like, because
Mhm.
are you going to provide a situation, because what you described before is exactly what summer programs should be about. There should be an academic component, but there should also be the opportunity for students, such as you described, to escape from those traumatic experiences that um, no child should have to deal with anyway. But unfortunately, we really don't think it through sometimes, and sometimes summer school is just programmatic, and it becomes mundane and routine, like it is just what we do, and the kids who fail have to come and make up the work that they didn't do during the school year, and sometimes they come and don't do the work, and we still push them on to the next grade. So, we really need to think about how we're designing the programs and
Mhm.
what it means to our kids. But teachers are probably the single most important aspect of the plan, because what you want are teachers who have relationships with children. Why are you going to hire the teacher who doesn't like kids during the school year to
Mhm.
terrorize them all summer? You gonna
Right.
bring somebody in there who the kids are gonna be bemoaning coming every day, but you also need to think about who's gonna get you impact,
Mhm.
because the point of having a summer program is to make sure that you are meeting the needs of the kids. And so this isn't about a part-time job, because like in our area, they pay well for teachers to teach summer school, believe it or not.
Mhm. Most definitely. And I
Um,
agree with everything that you
Yeah.
said. I think it definitely goes back to putting some forethought into how you plan the program. But
Right.
I also think that that culture should be there as well, even
Mhm.
from the aspect of when we're in our data meetings, how you allow people to refer to your students. Because I used to stop people from saying things like, oh, the low babies, the low lows. We're not going to do that. Because when you give children those types of labels, you put a perception in your mind around that and how you speak about children. So we're not going to talk about children from a deficit mindset in our building, in our data meetings. And that's how you make sure that that culture is set to where you don't have people who are serving children with that deficit mindset and really looking at the service that we're providing to all children.
It's important because the children already see themselves that way.
Mhm.
Um, I saw this with my own eyes this year. I was going around, it was SE ready testing, and I was going to each class and doing that thing that, yes, guys, y'all are, you really are the smartest kids in South Carolina. They've already said that you're going to do the best on this test. And just some of them go with me, but some of them turned around and looked at one student in particular and said, "Oh," and I won't call her name, but "Oh, Tammy, definitely is going to do that." And I said, "Yeah, but what about you?" And she said, "I don't know about me." And so we had to have a whole discussion on mindsets because, as you said, sometimes they come with the deficits already there. We
Mhm.
cannot be the ones who cultivate that mindset. We have to instill a growth mindset in our children and make sure they know that we know, or at least they think we know that, or they know we believe in them. That we'll leave it there. They know we believe that they can do what needs to be done. And I think when you see that, it does shift the culture, because then you don't have those kinds of conversations. The conversations begin to shift. And like when you are in an MTSS meeting in my school, and you're welcome to come anytime you want to hear what I'm saying as true. What you hear are conversations around what these kids need to be
Mhm.
successful. And so everybody who's at the table is giving their input on how do we get them where they need to be? What
Yeah.
interventions are in place to make sure that the children are successful? Not, oh, well, I mean, it's just Tammy.
Right. Exactly. And that's why I have so much respect for my interventionist. Just the way that they would approach students. What it wasn't from, oh, bless your heart. Look how low you are. You're in the 10th grade and you're on a third grade reading level. They wouldn't even bring up levels. You know what? I see that these are your strengths. It was always from a strengths based aspect.
Mhm.
I see that you're good at this, and I was wondering if you would mind if I could help you a little bit on XYZ, because you can't diminish people. And this is what we mean about putting the humanity and help. Just like when you look at adult literacy, programs, and you have all of these programs a lot of times, and sometimes people don't take advantage of them. But who wants to admit at a certain age that you're having these deficits? And sometimes we got to look at what we're naming stuff, and how you're attracting people. But when they would approach it that way, the children would gravitate to it so much more than, oh, well, this is just all about checking the boxes and getting you up the ladder to make sure that we change these report cards. The messaging, your approach, all of that matters. And we're at
It
the end,
does.
Tammy.
One thing I do think we need to just say before we end, this goes beyond academics as well,
Mhm.
because the mindset matters when you're talking about kids and shifting, even if it's behaviors. You
Mhm.
you you encourage them to do better, and you make sure you let them know that you know that they can, and that that's what your expectations are, and you begin to see even a shift there. I had kids who were projected to be expelled first semester
Mm.
who were a part of the fifth grade promotion ceremony at the end of the school year. You know why?
Wow.
We were able to make sure they knew, look, I mean, come on now.
Hmm.
I'm doing everything I can do. You got to help me.
Most definitely. You have to build them as you are moving them along because usually their confidence usually is at a big deficit. So we hope that this has given you some things to think about when you're reflecting on your summer school programs, how students are being served, your approach to the work, and even building that culture before you even get to that point. So tune in to Principal Kafele next, and we will see you all next week for our 200th episode. Thank you all. Have a great rest of your Saturday.